Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new Pokemon TCG video. Today guys we're going to be taking a look at the brand new Camerupt EX. I think he's a very solid EX type Pokemon. I feel like he's sort of a sleeping giant though. I don't think he's going to be particularly used right now just because of the rampant use of a lot of water type Pokemon and the very infamous Seismitoad EX. So the Camerupt EX is at a rather large disadvantage simply due to the fact that he is a fire type Pokemon. But I do want to bring attention to his explosive jet attack. A very solid attack, guys. We can give up the ideal number of fire energies that we actually want to get those massive one-hit knockouts. So the one thing that some players may not actually realize right away is that by using our explosive jet attack, we discard as many energy cards attached to our Pokemon, and per fire energy card that we actually do discard, this attack does 50 damage. Now, what's so great about this attack is that we don't need to give up fire energies attached to our Camerupt EX per se. We can actually give up fire energies from our bench Pokemon as well. So if we wanted to, for example, we could hit for 400 damage by giving up 8 energy cards. So 4 energy cards from our Camerupt EX and another 4 from our bench Pokemon combined. Things like that, guys. So Camerupt EX is very nice Pokemon. So we are actually going to try to make him as viable as as viable as possible with respects to the current standard format. So just because of the rampant use of water type Pokemon, we're actually going to be using a very atypical tool card. We are going to be using the weakness policy. So by actually attaching this to our Camerupt EX, we're actually not going to have any weakness anymore. So I feel like this card actually works quite nicely in combination with our Camerupt EX, because Camerupt EX doesn't need an item type attachment such as the Muscle Band or anything like that. He's already dishing out massive amounts of damage. Ideally, he would be able to repeatedly get those one-hit knockouts, so we just want to be able to preserve him for as long as possible. So I felt like Weakness Policy was a very worthwhile item card in terms of placing it in this deck. Again, one thing that I do want to mention though is that if we don't happen to face a water type matchup, for example, our weakness policy is going to be relatively useless, but we do have a lot of cards that we're actually running on our deck where we would be discarding cards. So for example, we are running the superior energy retrieval, so we could actually use that to get rid of our weakness policies. We're also running some ultra balls again, so it shouldn't be too big of an issue, just including a mere 2 weakness policies in our deck. Speaking of superior energy retrieval, guys, we are going to be getting a lot of fire energies into our discard pile, so then we'll actually be able to use the superior energy retrieval to grab out those fire energies, and then ideally, once we do have our Emboar line set up, we'll be using the Inferno Fandango ability to attach as many fire energies from our hand to our Pokemon as possible. So Emboar, very critical to this deck, so we are going to be running a total of 3 copies of him, guys. So we're ultimately running a 3-1-3 line for the Emboar. Another Pokemon that we're running as well, guys, is the Reshiram. Just a very solid non-EX type Pokemon, probably going to help us stall a little bit while we actually do get that energy flow going. And again, if he were to actually get knocked out, our opponents would only be able to draw a single prize card. Also, he has some pretty solid attacks. I mean, his outrage attack, the more he actually gets hurt, the more damage he's able to put out, and his blue flare attack can also come in quite handy. Our only anti-safeguard Pokemon as well, guys. So Reshiram, a very nice Pokemon, so we are ultimately going to be running a total of 2 copies of him. And the Mewtwo EX, just a very solid EX Pokemon in general, can fit in a lot of different types of decks. Mainly though, he is a Seismitoad EX counter. If Seismitoad EX does get us item locked, for example, we would not be able to use a weakness policy and attach it to our Camerupt EX. So that's where Mewtwo EX actually does come in handy. So we will be running a single copy of him as well, guys. And now to actually discuss some of the item cards that we are running, guys. So the escape rope, you guys know well what this card does. Again, the rare candy as well, because we are running an evolution line, it is going to come in handy just to evolve our Pignite into the Emboar right away. So we're going to be running a total of 2 copies of the rare candy in our deck, guys. The switch, again, you guys know what this card does. So we're running a lot of cards that you guys already know a lot about. So for example, 3 Ultra Balls, 3 VS Seekers, 2 Colress, 2 Lysanders, 4 Ents, and 4 Junipers. We are also going to be running 2 Blacksmiths just because this is a fire type deck, and in case we actually do not have our Emboar line set up and ready to go, Blacksmith can help us retrieve those fire energies from our discard pile and then help us speed up the rate of energy attachment to our Pokemon. We're also going to be running Scorched Earth as our stadium card, guys. This will allow us to actually get some fire energies in our discard pile and simultaneously allow us to draw some cards. So this is quite a nice card. It'll hopefully help us set up our Ember line that much earlier. So we are going to be running a total of 3 copies of this, and we're also running a total of 2 teammates in this deck, guys. The reason being is that we don't have the same type of support as fighting type decks do have with respects to Karina. So I mean, if we were to use a Karina and we had a Tepic on our bench, we could grab out a rare candy and say a Machamp, for example. Unfortunately, our fire type deck does not have that, so we're actually going to try and compensate for that by including 2 teammates. Again, if any of our Pokemon were to actually get knocked out, this would help us get the whole sort of Ember line going that much earlier. So if we had a Tepic on our bench, we could use the teammates to grab out a rare candy and a Ember as well. So teammates, quite a nice card, guys. So we are going to be running a total of 2 copies of this in our deck, and we're ultimately running a total of 12 fire energies. And of course, the 2 weakness policies, again, this is mainly to be attached to our Camerupt EX, could also come in handy with actually being attached to our Mewtwo EX, because I mean, a lot of psychic Pokemon do dish out double the amount of damage to our Mewtwo EX, so weakness policy could come in handy with respects to him as well. So with that said, guys, let's go right ahead and see what this bad boy is capable of doing. And let's go and find ourselves a random opponent. Again, I really do like the Camerupt EX. I mean, 4 energies, a little bit difficult to actually get set up, but with the Ember line, I feel like this deck has a lot of potential. But again, Seismitoad EX sort of shuts it down to a certain extent, and all those water Pokemon as well, guys. So not exactly the greatest matchups for us. And okay, so it looks like we're actually facing a Fairy type deck, and let's see what this deck is actually capable of. So Flaming Bubble is actually a friend of mine. Um, gives me a lot of cards from time to time with respects to me making videos. So yeah, guys. So let's go and start off with our Reshiram for now, and we will be placing down 2 Tepics as well. And let's just see what our. I'm thinking our opponent is running a Mega Gardevoir deck. He has been using his Fairy type deck quite often. So let's see who he's actually going to start off with. Unfortunately for us, though, Flaming Bubbles is going to go first, so he can probably get his whole line set up much earlier than us. I'm not actually sure if he maybe got disconnected or something, because he's not doing or saying anything, and I think that may actually be the case, because I know he'd be pretty excited to actually get randomly matched up versus me. And yeah, I think, guys, he actually has disconnected, so we will be actually finding ourselves another opponent. And yes, so I don't think he's actually going to be able to do anything. A lot of glitches going on right now. Oh, or maybe he's just lagging, and I don't know. So okay, maybe he actually is playing. I thought he actually just lagged out, but I guess that's actually not the case. So let's see who he actually puts down in his bench. Um, Again, not really sure why he's playing so slowly. He could be lagging or something. I really don't know. I mean, there's no reason why he would be stalling, at least as far as I'm concerned. And since we don't actually have any fire energies or anything like that, guys, we're probably going to be using the N on our turn. And it looks like I was right. Our opponent is using the Mega Gardevoir EX deck. Seems to be his favorite deck at the moment. Possibly his chat could be glitched, because it doesn't really look like he's saying anything either. And okay, so he's already gotten one of his special energies in his discard pile. Hopefully we're able to start dishing out a lot of damage to that Xerneas and getting our Ember line set up nice and early, just so that our deck can really get going. So we are actually going to place down a Mewtwo EX as well, and then let's go and use the N for some new cards in our hand, guys. And no fire energies at all. Wow, that's quite unusual, but let's go and place down a Tepic down for the time being, and with that we're going to have to end our turn. I may just have to use the Juniper on our turn, guys. Doesn't look like we're actually getting anything right now. But I mean, the fact that we actually don't have any fire energies in our hand per se right now shouldn't be too big of an issue. As soon as we actually do get our Ember line going, we'll get that accelerated fire energy attachment to our Pokemon. So okay, so it looks like our opponent is going to try and set up his Mega Gardevoir EX line. Definitely a very troubling sort of deck for us to deal with. Let's see if we can actually overpower it. I mean, if we can, then it'll really show what Camerupt EX can actually be made out of. So our opponent has grabbed the VS Seeker. I'm assuming he's probably going to use the Juniper again, maybe. Oh, sorry, the Colress, right? I knew there was a Colress in there. Didn't really actually pay attention to him grabbing it out. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so let's see what opponent's going to do. And yes, looks like the Geomancy is going to start up. So already 3 Gardevoir EX on the field, guys. So hopefully we can get rid of him nice and early. Let's go and attach the weakness policy to our Mewtwo EX in case our opponent. Actually, I saw his deck. I mean, it is all fairy type Pokemon, but nonetheless, we don't want to get head ringered or anything like that. So we will be attaching the weakness policy. Unfortunately, it looks like we are going to have to use the Juniper and a single fire energy. Wow, guys, we're getting a very slow start right now. But so unfortunately, I'm going to have to attach the fire energy to our Reshiram for the time being, and with that, we are going to end our turn. I'm saving the slot open, of course, for our Camerupt EX as soon as we can actually get him going. So I'll probably be using our Colress next turn, getting 9 cards in our hand. Again, doesn't really seem like we're getting anything, and we have just discarded some pretty useful cards, and one of our Embors as well. So hopefully we don't have 2 of them prized or anything like that. I mean, that would be a very uh, poor sort of situation for us, because the Ember is quite important to our deck's integrity, and I believe that Mega Gardevoir is actually loaded up and ready to go. But it looks like our opponent wants to get some more fairy energies attached to his Pokemon. So hopefully our Camerupt EX can actually overpower that Mega Gardevoir EX. So let's go and use the Colress, guys. And okay, so it looks like we have just gotten a rare candy. So let's go and bring out our first Ember. Let's get rid of that Fairy Garden, and let's evolve one of our Tepics into the Pignite. We will also be placing down our Camerupt EX. And okay, looks like things are starting to flow a little bit more smoothly right now. So let's actually go and use the Scorched Earth to draw onto 2 more cards. Okay, so we do have another Ultra Ball. I may be using it on our next turn, guys, to actually grab out another Ember as well, just in case this one happens to get Lysandered, for example. So let's actually go and attach a Fire Energy to our Reshiram, and then we'll be using our Inferno Fandango ability to attach another Fire Energy to our Camerupt EX. And unfortunately, we're only going to be able to hit for 20, but that's okay. That's not too big of an issue. And again, if we do get a lot of Fire Energies in our discard pile, again, shouldn't be too big of an issue, because we do have the Superior Energy Retrievals and the Energy Acceleration with the Ember. And looks like Flaming Bubbles is finally talking again. So looks like he's I guess his game is maybe not glitching or anything anymore. I wasn't really sure why he wasn't talking earlier. And it looks like that Mega Gardevoir EX is going to come out. So I'm thinking of whether or not we should actually bring out our Camerupt EX, guys. I think we will bring him out. I have a feeling that we're probably going to be able to get the right number of fire energies. So let's actually go and use the Colress, guys. Actually, I'm going to be using the Ultra Ball to give up our VS Seeker and our Escape Rope, just to grab out another Ember. I think he's a pretty important Pokemon to have. So let's go and use the Colress. And okay, so I'm actually going to use the Scorched Earth to draw into 2 more cards. Hopefully we're able to get a, and no, it looks like we're not actually able to grab onto any of our Superior Energy Retrievals. So okay, I'm thinking of whether or not I should actually switch in to our Tepig for now. I think that is actually what I'm going to go and do. So let's go and attach a Fire Energy to our Camerupt EX, and with that we are going to have to unfortunately end our turn. Okay, so again, the Mega Gardevoir is not a Pokemon that we really want to deal with. Can dish out a lot of damage to us. Really hoping that our Camerupt EX does actually overpower our Pokemon. Sorry, our Camerupt EX overpowers our opponent's Mega Gardevoir EX line. I will be using the teammates though, hopefully if our opponent does knock out our Tepig, and I'll be grabbing a Superior Energy Retrieval, and hopefully something else. And it looks like we're actually going to get End, but we do have 2 Fire Energies, so that is nice. And we just need 1 more Fire Energy, guys, before our Camerupt EX can actually get rid of our opponent's Mega Gardevoir. So let's go and use the accelerated Fire Energy attachments to our Camerupt EX. And let's see, do we actually have a teammates in our discard pile? That would actually be quite nice. But it looks like we don't, so I'm really hoping that the Colress gets us something nice this time around. So let's go and use the Colress. Sorry, actually I could use the Blacksmith as well. You know what? I don't think Colress is actually a card worth using right now, guys. So we're actually going to grab out the Blacksmith, and then we're actually going to attach the Fire Energies to our benched Mewtwo EX for the time being, because nonetheless we can still use our Mega Camerupt EX's attack. Oh, sorry, I forgot that Blacksmith only works for a Fire-type Pokemon, but that's okay. So let's go and attach the Fire Energies, and then let's go and use the Explosive Jet attack to perform the one-hit knockout on our opponent's Mega Gardevoir EX. I mean, his other Pokemon aren't actually loaded up and ready to go just yet. So that's okay. So let's go and get rid of that Mega Gardevoir EX. 250 damage, guys, a massive attack, and draw onto 2 of our prize cards. So it looks like things are finally starting to flow a little bit more smoothly right now, and hopefully we can take the advantage now while our opponent doesn't have a lot of fairy type energies attached to his Pokemon. So okay, so he's actually going to use the teammates, and really hoping that our Camerupt EX actually doesn't get knocked out. If he does, I'm probably going to have to bring out one of our Emboars, because our opponent only has 4 prize cards remaining, and if he were to, say, knock out our Mewtwo EX, that would be a very bad situation for us. So I'll definitely be placing down one of our Camerupt EXs into our bench, and a Reshiram as well. And probably going to be using the Juniper, really hoping that we do get some of our superior energy retrievals, guys. We are running 4 in our deck though, and we've only used a single one right now, so I don't think we should be in too bad of a situation for the time being. Still think that we can actually make a comeback. Our opponent's going to place down his Fairy Garden, but that's okay. We do have the Scorched Earth in our hand as well. Hopefully the opponent doesn't actually grab out the N. And okay, he's actually going to grab out a Lysander's trump card. Okay, so that means that our fire energies in our discard pile actually will not be able to get grabbed out again if we were to use our superior energy retrieval. If our opponent does actually use his Lysander's trump card on his next turn, which I'm assuming he's going to do. I mean, he did just use the teammates in this turn, and unfortunately for our opponent, we did just draw onto our superior energy retrieval. So let's actually go and lay down our Scorched Earth and place down 2 of our Pokemon. So we will be discarding our Lysander and our Juniper, guys, to grab out 4 of our fire energies. Okay, and then we're going to be using the Inferno Fandango ability to attach some fire energies to our Camerupt EX, and again perform another massive one-hit knockout on our opponent's Gardevoir EX. Our opponent is really starting to see just how potent of a deck this is. So let's go and use the Juniper. And okay, so let's actually go and get rid of that Gardevoir EX by using our Explosive Jet attack once again, guys, and drawing onto 2 more prize cards. So I'm very happy with how well our Camerupt EX deck is actually performing at the moment. Okay, so just letting him know that he is actually being recorded. Pretty big fan of this channel as well. Our opponent is going to use the Lysander's trump card, seems like. But I mean, if our opponent were to actually knock out our Camerupt EX, we could use the teammates, and possibly, I don't actually know what we would actually be grabbing out. So let's see what our opponent can actually do. Again, it looks like we've managed to make a massive turnaround, guys, and our Camerupt EXs, as you guys can see, are dealing out a massive amount of damage. Our opponent's going to grab out his Lysander's trump card again. I'm assuming he can't really do much for the time being. He is going to be using the Xerneas for the energy acceleration once again. So, okay, if we can actually grab onto a Lysander or something like that, I mean, there's no way we can actually win with respects to this turn per se. So let's go and use the Scorched Earth to give up our fire energy and draw onto some cards.